welcome the Pittsburgh Sportsline. Thanks for watching our show. We have another great lineup here with Smoking Jim Frazier, Big Mike Butera, just back in from New York City or the Bronx. And we've got a lot of sports to talk about. But on a sad note, I want to tell you that Chip Hayner's mother passed away, and our deepest sympathy goes to Chip, Stephanie, and his family. They've had quite an ordeal the last few months and even over the last year. So again, my deepest sympathy to Chip and Stephanie and all the Hayner family and friends. So on that note, we'll wish you the best, Chip, and we'll go to Big Mike Butera. What's on your mind this week, buddy?
Well, actually, I wish I had a better one than that, but quite frankly, Chip's on my mind, and I'll tell you why. Because I've become an acquaintance of Chip's via this show for the past, 6-8 weeks, whatever it is, and I've admired Chip's passion for the sinking ship known as the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the love of his mother. And every time we've met before the show, Chip has mentioned his mother, talked to us about her status and the fact that he was looking very much forward to her coming home and living with him, and him, helping her to be in a better place. And I think this was, to me, this is sudden. I don't know if he mentioned to you guys that she was kind of this ill, but
yes, she did. He did last week. He was telling us some of those things. And
so, actually, Chip, that's what's on my mind. And if you review this on YouTube, I mean, that's what I'm feeling right now. But I'd like to take it a step further. If these guys will allow me to take your place for the Pirate Review tonight, I'd be honored to do so. Chip, God bless you, and best of luck to you and your family.
Well, thanks, Big Mike. I appreciate it. And let's take it to Smoking Jim Frazier.
Hey, thanks, Al and Big Mike. I got tears in my eyes right now, so I'll try to see if I can make it through. But what's on my mind is this past Sunday, the Pittsburgh Steelers played the Philadelphia Eagles, which is brought back memories of back in World War II when the Steelers and the Eagles actually teamed up and became the Steagles. Played together for a season. But a lot of Philadelphia Eagle fans was down at Heinz Field at the stadium, and that's why I call it Philadelphia. The fans got a lot of mouth. I tell you what, I'm surprised a lot of the fans didn't get beat up. But a lot of throwback jerseys, a lot of Harold Carmichael jerseys, but I seen one jersey in particular, number 31, for Wilbert Montgomery, and it brought back memories. Wilbert Montgomery was a running back for the Philadelphia Eagles, but he began his college career at Jackson State. Didn't stay there very long because Jackson State had a running back at the time named Walter Payton. So Wilbert Montgomery transferred to a tiny school in Texas called Abilene Christian, where his best offensive lineman was heavyweight boxing contender Randall Tex Cobb. And Wilbert Montgomery went on to the Philadelphia Eagles, where he became the all-time leading rusher in Philadelphia Eagle history. And Walter Payton from tiny Jackson State all-black school became the all-time leading rusher in NFL history. You take a guy like Jerry Rice from tiny all-black school called Mississippi Valley State, became the all-time leading wide receiver in NFL history. And you take a guy like Shannon Sharp, who some guys in the NFL have said he looked like Mr. Ed, but Shannon Sharp played college ball at a little small black school called Savannah State. And then you look at a guy like Doug Williams, Super Bowl MVP quarterback and Super Bowl winning quarterback from Grambling State. And last but not least, Mel Blount of the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of people consider Mel Blount the greatest cornerback NFL history. Matter of fact, the NFL changed the rules because Mel Blount was so feared, and he played at a little small black college called Southern. So small black colleges have made a positive impact on the National Football League, and that's what's on my mind.
Smoking Jim, you never cease to amaze me with some of your insights and your scouting. Which black college are you going to this weekend?
I go to see the bands and the majorettes, brother.
I knew there was a little hook.
Lips, hips, and fingertips is is on the black college campuses.
And that's why you can call in 412-831-3304. Where else do you get insights on NFL superstars, their colleges, all the little minutia on who did this, who did that, how many most running yards, catches, etc. You covered it all. MVP quarterback. You threw it all at us. We got to start doing a book on this. We may have to branch out and do a little show on the NFL scout here with his history lesson.
That's why he's sitting in the middle, because he's the man.
We got him right in the middle. I don't even know what's on my mind tonight after hearing you two gentlemen speak. Well, I told you I had to go to this charitable, it's a fundraising event with helping businesses. Saw a lot of politicians. I want to give a shout out to Ed Gainey. Talked to him. He's one of my FB buddies and everything else. He said hello to the show. He checks out some of the things we do. Said hi to Smoking Jim Frazier. So I want to pass the word. He doesn't know Big Mike really yet, so but we'll work on that. So it was down at the Fairmont Hotel. There were plenty of people to help everybody out down there. So just made it into the show. That's why you see me. I'm looking at myself in the monitor here, and let me take a second or two. Big Mike gave me a compliment saying I look like somebody else that's been on the show before. But I'm wearing the suit because I didn't have time to change in the car coming from Pittsburgh. And then this is in honor of the biggest fan. If she's watching the show, Hope, thanks for watching the show. She's moving out of town, so she's gone starting on Thursday. So this is the last time she's going to watch our show live. And it's a pleasure having you two gentlemen with me so you can entertain my family. Appreciate that. What's on my mind is the NHL. Oh, wait a second. I just hear crickets here. Okay, guys, let's go into some sports. We're going to talk to Big Mike Butera, who's standing in for Chip the Prophet Hayner, and he still has his bandwagon. He's shining it up. He told us that, Big Mike, for next year.
Okay, well,
so there's your segue.
Segue, okay. Now that's the words, the big words already.
Welcome back from the Bronx again.
Thank you very much. The Bronx cheer.
You got it.
For Chip, I've looked this up, and I'm fairly certain that the Pirates will be playing in October of 2013, simply because they're more or less scheduled to do so. But Chip, you know,
Thanks, Big Mike. Your insights are unbelievable.
Hey, that was my prognostication. You know what I mean? Now, here's my.
Are you being serious for our fans out there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you.
And here is again in Chip's honor, because I don't do the Pirate Jazz, but I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to commend the Pirate organization for not having people quit that organization. Not since the Marlboro Man, Smoking Jim Leland. I hope there's no. But he quits every team. As a matter of fact, he'll probably be quitting the Tigers in about 3 days when the Oakland A's come back and eliminate them.
Hold it. I like Jim Leland.
I didn't say I didn't, did I?
Yeah, you're inferring that, sir.
Well, I don't know what that means.
You're calling him a quitter.
Has he quit the Pirates? Did he quit the Marlins?
Yes.
Did he quit the Rockies? He hasn't quit the Tigers yet.
Did he win a World Series ever?
Yes, with the Marlins.
Did they dump the whole team?
Yes,
did he
they
know
did.
about them dumping the whole team?
Yes, he did.
I think he's a smart man.
I didn't say he wasn't smart. I didn't say he wasn't good looking. I just said that he quits and the Pirates.
I'm just being argumentative.
That's okay. That's what this is all about. And I'm commending the Pirates and I'm getting an argument. Okay, the Pirates haven't had anybody quit since. Do I have to start all over again with that, Jazz?
Could you?
But the Pirates have people that they fire. And I'm hoping against hope, for the sake of Chip the Prophet, prognosticator, and all the other P words, that for his benefit, that Boob Nutting fires himself or quits so that the Pirates can move on. And there's my Pirate segment, folks, like it or not. Send your cards and letters, their hate mail.
What's the phone number?
412-831-3304. And to the best of my knowledge, since I've been on this show, there's only been one guy that's called in. And that was long distance.
And I want to give a shout out to that gentleman who called in.
From the men's room in Yankee Stadium.
You could tell he just had flushed the urinal. It's amazing.
I've washed my hands, though.
We didn't ask about that. Well, what's the Yankee report then, since we're leaving the
Buccos?
Buccos?
Tied at 1. They started, I think it's 8:07 tomorrow, and on Friday, tomorrow's Wednesday, and Thursday's game is 7 o'clock. Hiroki Kuroda is going tomorrow. and he's been on this. Actually, had a great season, something like 14, 15 wins and a 3.15, 3.2 ERA, which is fabulous in the American League. But the problem with Hiroki Kuroda, I think I got it right that time, is that he gives up. He can't get through the first inning without some sort of significant, say, damage. And in a short series in the playoffs, pitchers are on a short rein in the playoffs. But I hope he gets through the first inning, even if he gives up a run. And this just in, Joe Girardi, personal friend of mine, because I can have personal friends like Smoking Jim, you know, has informed me that he might be dropping A-Rod down the lineup probably to fifth or at worst sixth for the game tomorrow night. And there's my Pirate and my Yankee, update.
Are you going to any of the games? That's the other question.
No, they start too late for a guy my age, trust me.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Is that sort of like the old school thing?
Yes.
Okay,
the older,
we didn't touch that.
The older you are, the older school you went to.
We didn't get to that yet. And what was the stadium that they
Where's
built
my
out
gas
there?
X? Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, who built that?
George Herman Babe Ruth.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Thank you much. Tim Tebow, okay?
Okay. We didn't get to, he played the other day. We didn't get to the NFL stuff. You got to hold your horses there.
I can't wait.
We're going to get to the NFL in a minute or so. I did want to bring up about the Pirates here. He sounds like James McDonald, whatever you mispronounce that pitcher's name. Remember how James McDonald would have some trouble in the first inning or so? Then you have to overcome it. So that's why we're not in the playoffs. The Yankees might be in trouble if he has those first inning issues there.
You know, I'm sorry to interrupt, except I love it when people say I'm sorry to interrupt, because they're not. They actually meant to interrupt. But
I don't accept your apology.
What did you drink tonight?
Nothing.
Okay.
Fresh water.
The
Pittsburgh
Pirates, what's it, Elias Sports Agency?
Yes. The
definitive, whatever they are.
Yes.
The Pirates were the first team ever to be 16 games over 500.
You know what? You should have listened to the show last week.
Did they bring
Because
it
the
up?
gentleman sitting to your far right brought it up. The other right.
Oh, okay. And
It's the worst collapse in sports history in the major leagues. Nobody's ever done that.
Well, I just read it today, so this just in.
I brought that up a little while ago.
You're to my right.
Thank you. Yeah. I hate to correct you, but you're a good man. I don't apologize for being right.
I love it when I'm two guys down, not just one.
You know what?
Getting hammered.
This is much nicer here.
Guy dresses up and he thinks he's the host of the show or something.
I defer to Big Mike. Where do you want to go next, buddy?
I like it right where I'm at, to Smokin's left, or to my right, whatever he is. Okay.
All right. On a serious note, since he doesn't know his left from his right, but that's okay. How about some NFL action here? We'll start with the Steelers here and your insights on the game there with what we all saw, because you know how the Steeler fans are fickle here. Now we think we're going to go to the Super Bowl because we won again.
Well, very proud of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, I tell you what, when Pittsburgh Steelers drafted Big Ben in 2004, that was the biggest acquisition since the Chiefs bought the team back in 1933. This guy is just a phenomenal football player that fits the Pittsburgh Steelers what they need. You can't sack this guy. He went the whole game without a sack. But, and I tell you what, they beat a pretty good Philadelphia team. They needed that win. But the flaws in the Pittsburgh Steelers are so obvious. I've been talking about this guy for a long time. He's from the Bronx. I said he should be a security guard at Yankee Stadium instead of playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's Willie Colon. And the sad part about it is Willie Colon has been so horrible for so long, but the Pittsburgh Steelers still gave him $30 million. And the guy that is a good friend of mine, him and his wife, Craig and Faith Wolfley. Craig Wolfley is one of the best offensive guard in Pittsburgh Steelers history. Matter of fact, he made the All-Century team for the Pittsburgh Steelers the last time around at guard. But he's been consistently saying that Willie Colon's been playing well. They did not come out and say that Willie Colon started playing poorly until he said last week he started playing poorly before he gave up 4 holding penalties in one game. When a guy is so sorry that he gives up 4 holding penalties in one game and is your best offensive guard, you know you got problems on the offensive line. And what the great Chuck Noll used to say, Pittsburgh Steelers got problems, and they are great.
That's pretty good, Smoking Jim. I was appalled by that too, but then on the other side, you kept hearing the announcers, boy, is he doing a good job run blocking. Well, I saw him tackling guys. Did you see that? That when he was driving a guy back, he had the arms outside of him and was blocking him. So, I mean, some of the stuff you notice, I guess it's that old adage that you could get a holding call on every play, but they're not going to call it. Maybe they have a spotlight on Willie Colon because he does, and he's blatant about it. But how many of the other guys, I saw Gilbert get knocked on his back. I mean, and Big Ben's scurrying around, and the Eagles have a good line where they usually sack you. For some reason, they couldn't. I guess these guys were laying on top of them, so they couldn't get out there to sack them.
Well, one thing I got to give credit where credit's due. Everybody knows I'm not a Todd Haley fan.
Far from it.
Far from it. I think it's a terrible job of them hiring and elevating him to offensive coordinator. But I will give credit because in Todd Haley's offense, you do have checkdowns, and the checkdowns are to the running backs, and you've seen the difference when Mendenhall was in there. A few of those times Ben would have got sacked, but he was able to check the ball down to Mendenhall. Mendenhall caught the football, and I tell you what, a cornerback don't want to tackle that brother. That brother 225 pounds, and I tell you what, he runs hard down the sideline, so you've seen the difference. So I think that the checkdowns alone will help Ben stay 25% of the time in Todd Haley's playbook, and the other 75% of the time will be Bruce Arians' playbook.
When you guys were talking about, see, I don't know what I'm talking about, but you guys do. When you guys were talking about the holding penalties, holding calls,
yes.
and tackling, the guy tackling, I guess he was an offensive lineman or
he
or
tackled the defensive.
Well, are you guys calling for bringing back the replacement refs? I mean, is that
no?
Okay.
Replacement refs couldn't have been worse than the refs this past week. I don't see the difference. I've never seen the difference in the replacement refs or the regular referees. The game was officiated horribly this past game. Now, other than Willie Colon, he earned all 4 of those holding penalties and maybe 4 more that they didn't call. But some of the calls that were made, I mean, you wouldn't think the Pittsburgh Steelers were playing at home. It was really terrible. It was Flag Day.
Well, as close as the score was, and if you're telling me the officiating was shaky, did it possibly have an outcome, or did it possibly have an effect on the outcome of the game?
Well, the only thing that had an effect on the outcome of the game was Michael Vick not being able to hold on to the football. If Mike Vick holds on to the football, they probably beat the Steelers by 17 points. Shady McCoy was looking like Gale Sears. I mean, the Steeler defensive backs and linebackers were coming up, and Shady McCoy was just leaving them. But Michael Vick's fumbles, not being able to hold on to the football, kept the game close, and the Pittsburgh Steelers had the ball the last series. Whoever had the ball last was going to win the football game. But another fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Oh, you stole my line.
Like my man Al Machine, the talking machine that labeled me. We talked about Craig Wolfley, and I tell you what, Craig Wolfley, and I did a lot of boxing with his wife, Faith Wolfley, who's a promoter, but a lot of people don't know the Wolfley family come from Buffalo, like Gronkowski. We couldn't recruit him here at Gateway, but a tough family, hard-nosed family. His brother played in the NFL a long time. He was a fullback at West Virginia and the St. Louis Cardinals or the St. Louis Rams, whatever they want to be called now. But Craig Wolfley's high school team, if they didn't go on strike his senior year, they only played 5 games, but they probably would have been national champs. On the defensive line, they were all seniors together. One defensive lineman was Craig Wolfley. The other defensive lineman was Jim Burke, that played nose guard for the New York Giants back when they was winning Super Bowls with Bill Parcells. You remember Big Jim Burke? And the best lineman on that defensive line, twice as good as any of them, was Lex Luger from the WWE wrestling.
No.
So that was probably the greatest high school defensive line of all time.
In high school.
In high school. All of them were seniors.
There you go, folks.
Buffalo.
More fiction than fact. from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
I like that.
We're going to brand that. We'll have a little sideshow with that stuff. No problem.
Sounds good.
Now, who went on strike?
Craig Wolfley's high school in Buffalo. He's from Buffalo, New York.
But who went on strike? The teachers?
Probably either the teachers or the janitors, or if in Buffalo, it could be anything. It could be Niagara Falls could have went on strike, and
the water,
everybody took
the
off.
water stopped that year. I don't know if you heard, but that was the year that the falls stopped, so they could do repair work.
Falling.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
You know what? Nobody's getting past you. I'm glad you're back. What took you so long?
I'm back, baby. I'm back. Well, it's a long. Oh man, let me tell you something.
Can you tell us something?
Yeah, absolutely. This is related but unrelated. It's not related to the show. But on my way back from New York City.
What happened?
Oh, good Lord. We left at 9 o'clock. And actually, we were in East Rutherford, New Jersey, by the Meadowlands. I'm sure you know some people up there. Jimmy Hoffa, for one.
No, I heard he might be in Michigan now.
No, that's been debunked.
Parts of him.
Well, yeah, he left his heart. I mean, really.
Okay.
We left New Jersey to come home to Pittsburgh, me and my buddy, which takes all of 6 hours. But we were on the road for 20 minutes, and there was an overturned dump truck that exploded underneath a bridge.
What bridge?
Oh, I know. I never got that far because they rerouted us.
Because I'm going to be going that way.
Oh, that's
You're
dumb,
wearing
man.
Cape May, and that's a shout out to the biggest fan.
Cape May, New Jersey.
There we go.
That's well. I
Go
was told not
story.
to. We were stopped dead in traffic on the Pike for 3 hours. I mean, literally, everybody turned their car off except for a diesel truck that was next to us. They never turned those things off. 3 hours, we were stopped, solid dead. My comment to my buddy was, well, why don't they just have a thing come by and take the New Jersey barrier, that concrete barrier, and let us do that? Well, in fact, they did, but it took them 3 hours. And it wasn't because they couldn't clear the debris of the truck, it's because they had to have a structural engineer come in and do the span to see if it was okay for traffic to pass underneath it. So, okay, bada bing, bada boom, betty boop, we're rerouted around, and now we're going like this, bobbing and weaving to find another interstate to take us home. We stopped and ate. We got back on another interstate at close to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And don't you know, we got in the same scenario, an overturned tractor trailer that we were stopped dead for another 2 hours. So the 9 o'clock in the morning to getting home at 2 in the afternoon turned into a quarter after 11 in the evening. Now that's it is what it is. It's fine and dandy. And the guy I was with, I love him to death. He's a super nice guy. And I'm not going to say but because it always connotates something negative. So I'm not going to say but. However, he's a political junkie. And for all that time in the car, we're listening to Rush Limbaugh, and then Terry Hanratty, and then this other guy and that other guy, all politics stuff. And I'm going like this. I'm squirming a little bit, and he goes to me, "Does this? Are you okay with this stuff?" Well, I'm saying, not exactly, because this one guy's a whiner. Now, it's like I said, it was offbeat. But he asked me how my trip was. It was a 12-inning game, which means I left the stadium like midnight, and I got back to my hotel room in East Rutherford, New Jersey, at something after 1 o'clock in the morning, and all I had was a bottle of wine and 4 cannolis. And
Wow.
I can't make that stuff up, kids. And I'll tell you what, you don't do that at home. We are professionals.
And how does this all tie into sports? He's a sports fan, folks.
Oh yeah, 12 innings. I loved it. I was in my glory, no doubt about it.
Who won?
Yankees, 4-3. Yeah, the night before.
And extra innings.
Yeah, the night
12-inning
before.
marathon.
The night before, they crushed them, and they had 4 home runs in the second inning. I go there, they struggled to tie it up, and then they won in the bottom of the 12th. And the following night, they crushed them 11-4. I just happened to be in the tight game, extra innings, and traffic. But I made it here for you guys tonight. So the number is
412
831-3304.
33.
Please call.
And if not, just watch us on YouTube.
I love watching YouTube, man, I'll tell you.
There's one of our biggest fans on YouTube. Plus Mike
here or
Vint.
not.
We'll throw Mike Vint out there and all the other people that watch it on YouTube. We appreciate you watching it.
Speaking
We're
of
getting a
YouTube.
lot of good feedback from it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Super. Speaking of YouTube.
They want to know who you are. Is
Or
what the
who I
question
am
is.
or
Yeah.
who am I? That's a question for the ages. Smoking, I got to ask you a question because you know these guys. Okay, I failed to wear my Italian hat tonight because yesterday was Columbus Day, but I did march in the parade on Saturday in Bloomfield.
Congratulations.
Oh, great.
And I was with my Italian club, the Calabria Club of Pittsburgh, which the incoming president as of January 1st is, well, it's me. But thank you very much.
Oh,
Thank you
congratulations, Presidente.
Il Presidente.
Il Presidente. You don't look ill, but I
But
understand.
and two of the things were, well, one of the things that was notable, it was the most highly attended in terms of floats and marchers and all that jazz for a long, long time, maybe 20-some years. But there were two guys that were in the parade, neither of them marched such as I did, but two guys in the parade. One was Bruno Sammartino, who was celebrating a 72nd birthday.
Nice.
He was in the back seat of either a Rolls Royce or a Bentley, limousine or whatever it was. And at the end of the parade, when everybody was peeling away at the far end of Bloomfield, I had an opportunity to approach the car, and he rolled down the window, and I said, "Happy birthday, Bruno!" And because I watched it when I was a kid, I watched the wrestling then, and he kind of stuck out his hand. I mean, he looked the same facially. I didn't see his body, but he stuck out his hand, and it wasn't out the window, nor was my hand going in the window, but his fingers were so long. Did you ever shake the guy's hand?
Yeah.
He has hands and a half. I mean, it was awesome. So that was a pretty cool treat for me. And then the second thing was,
Well, before you go on, Bruno Sammartino still has the world's record. He's benched 335 pounds 38 times. It's still the world's record.
38 times.
Nobody's ever broken that record. He was a tremendously strong guy, dedicated guy. To this day, he still lifts weights at his house 6 days a week. Unbelievable.
I
guy.
love those tights he wears. But
Ouch! It's a family show.
And I said I love those tights that he wears. What's wrong with that?
It's a family show.
Okay, I'm sure. The other guy I met, and this is where you guys, you probably, have either of you guys met and or talked to on a private level with Franco Harris?
All the time.
Did you see my Facebook page?
I don't do Facebook.
I got a hug from Franco with the Hugathon.
Well, that's why I would figure that you would know the guy.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about on a personal, private level because
I said, hi,
run,
Franco.
every
how you
summer
doing?
I run Franco Harris summer football camp in the city of Pittsburgh.
Well, I'm talking about if we ran into the parking lot outside of the TV thing here is where I'm coming from, because we marched to the end of the Bloomfield, and then my car was at the far end. I think you're getting an NFL update right now.
That's Franco right now.
Probably, which
answer.
is where I'm going. It's going to surprise me. And
Franco,
then I walked to my car at the other end of Bloomfield, which is down towards Shady Side.
Right.
And he came around in the convertible that he was riding in, and the guy getting out of the car with him said, "Come on over here and meet Franco. Do you know who this guy is?" I said, "Yeah, it's Franco Harris." So the guy called me over. So I introduced myself to Franco, and I say, "Congratulations, it's the 40th anniversary, the
Immaculate
reception, right?" And I said, and congratulations on a great life, the whole 9 yards. And
What happened?
the guy, which is exactly where I'm going, he either A, has no personality, B, is not personable, or is extremely shy. So what is it?
Shy.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't getting nothing, man. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to get anything.
Well,
but
you know why? You got like 90% of the personality in every conversation, so that's intimidating to us guys that we don't really relate to that.
I had my Italian garb on. He's in a marching.
You probably had a Seattle Seahawks jersey
Yeah, they thought you were making fun of him. He was actually offended.
You come from out of bounds to shake his hand.
Yeah.
No, I bounced off.
And he had a nightmare.
Actually, I bounced off a Frenchy Fuqua, then into his car.
Did you find out if the goldfish is still alive?
And Fuqua, yeah, it's still the
Is
same
it?
one too. It's a little
discolor?
Okay, now I think where I made my mistake was when the guy said, "You know who this is?" and I said, "Yes, that's Frank." Oh, Harris. I mean, I was stunned. I was surprised. So who knows? Who knows? But you confirm what I was hoping, that he's a very shy person. Can we agree
Well,
on that?
especially when somebody's calling Frank.
Oh, Harris.
Oh, Harris.
Well, I was like, oh,
That's an
Harris.
old joke, from a long time ago. You're old school or something, aren't you? What are you drinking in that bottle all the way over there?
That would be simply lemonade with,
To your
with
left.
a little what bottle? My left. Simply lemonade or limeade with a.
This is not a paid advertisement.
Well, that's
This
good
only
stuff,
reflects
though.
the opinions of Big Mike Butera.
2 weeks ago it would have been Kool-Aid, but it's lemonade now. So
The Kool-Aid's all finished. I had the last of the Kool-Aid of the Pirates. I fell off the bandwagon. You missed it. I scraped up an extra knee on that.
okay, how many guys? Okay, since you're addressing me in a nice way, which I'm sure you are doing out.
Yeah, I meant that.
How many
Everything.
call-ins have you had? I've been on this show for like what, 2 months now. I know one guy that's called in, and the guy was long distance again. So who loves you, baby?
We had
You know what I
3
mean?
the whole time. And 2 of them were stage calls, and one was a young man that called in that knows my son. So
Where are you people?
here's
Call
what
in.
happened. I'll tell you a little story. I see people in Shop and Save at the meat counter getting some cold cuts. So shout out to Mr. Grasshopper. Steelers are going to win on Thursday night. No brainer. All right, Mr. Grasshopper, thanks for the turkey breast and the hot pepper cheese. But these guys are intimidated by the intelligence on the show.
What show they watch?
Well, it was before you joined us, but they said, where do you guys come up with this stuff? Now, since we have Big Mike here, we know where he comes up with this stuff.
You know, I can tell you right now, and Chip, when you watch this on YouTube, you're gonna be able to tell very distinctly there's a void tonight, and yes.
In sports talk. Oh, we better up the beat a little bit
I
then.
don't know if you watch the YouTube, which in fact I do because I like to see myself. There's, I'll be, I will be like doing what I do best, and as soon as my mouth is
Exactly what
starting
is
to
it?
shut, I don't know. As soon as my mouth is starting to shut, all of a sudden it's the Chip Hayner show, and he comes up with something deadly serious and right on, and it goes on and on and on again, and then we rotate through these guys, and then I get to do my thing again. You know what I mean? The levity of the show. That's me.
Oh,
Al Levity right here. I don't know. So
we appreciate it.
we miss you, Chip, is what I'm saying.
Well, then, what do you think about the game plan of the Steelers there?
You know what? I keep saying to myself that I have to get in tune with. A baseball season will be over like maybe in 30 days or whatever, and I have to get in tune with the Steelers and actually NFL for that matter. And quite frankly, folks, I used to be a big Steeler fan way back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, the old school days. And I kind of lost track after they did their 4 Super Bowl runs in that 6-year period. And I really haven't watched football since then. The only reason why I know anything about anything is because if you watch ESPN every morning, such as I try to do, there's time designated to each and every sport. I even know, and I think I mentioned this on the show before, that sometime in the last 30 years, someone in soccer scored a goal, which was big news. So I do know a little bit about this, and I'm going to get more involved.
Well, you know
with
what?
football.
Since you're talking soccer, maybe we should go down to Piper's Pub, who I was telling you
In
about. They
Oakland?
have soccer games in Southside
Piper's Pub, okay. And
Yeah.
they have soccer games. You mean that
on
thing?
TV.
Oh,
They show them. And then another thing you should know is, I think in Seattle they were saying, what is it, the Major League Soccer, or what Major Soccer League?
MISL?
Whatever it is, they're averaging like 30-some thousand, almost 40,000 people at their games.
Wow.
So I think we're falling a little behind on that sport here in
Next
America.
week we'll hit it. Next week we'll
Okay,
hit
we're going to do research, Big Mike. Well,
That's my assignment.
we may have an assignment for you or whatever. We'll get back to you.
Shepherd's pie.
Okay, soccer.
Our assignment will be Shepherd's Pie at Piper's Pub, since we're hungry here tonight.
I'm going for pizza right after this. You guys are invited to join me.
Where are you going?
The Carlos on 51. That's for you, the Carlos on 51.
Well, these are all our sponsorships that we talk about. We're looking for sponsors for the show. So if you like what you're hearing, don't call in. Just contact me, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Send me an email, alanlevine1@gmail, or at Pittsburgh Sportsline @gmail.
And what would sponsorship get us?
Well, this way it'd defer some of your gas expenses, and maybe you could get. He has a script written, folks, and I just wanted you to know.
It's three things.
No, don't be condescending here. He has 13 pages of written out exactly what he's going to say.
All right, all right. You know what that is? That's my acceptance speech to my Calabria Club for my being elected to the presidency. Because I'm trying to be green and save paper and trees and all that jazz, that I just chose to turn it over and make a couple notes. But this is The acceptance speech.
I
to my
stand
Italian club.
corrected. I thought you scripted out this whole show.
No, I mean, you want to hear my acceptance speech?
No,
I can do that.
Let's change subject. Smoking Jim, I got bad news for you that
Yes, sir.
North Allegheny beat your team there, and I saw some of the highlights there. What happened? I was shocked because luckily you can't bet on the high school games officially. So
Well, the best team won. North Allegheny came into Anna Marino Stadium, and of course, I boycotted the game because I felt like it should have been the at Heinz Field for the championship, which I'm still predicting they will meet, and it will be a different outcome. But however, my old high school coach, who was the first coach ever inducted into the WPIAL Hall of Fame, which makes him the greatest high school coach in southwestern Pennsylvania history. Pete Annamarino was there for the coin toss, along with Art Walker Sr., former Mount Lebanon great coach, who's now the assistant coach at North Allegheny under his son, Art Walker Jr. So they did the coin toss, and Gateway dominated the first half. Running back Martin ran for 73 yards in the first quarter, but North Allegheny, who has 4 players on their team who are sons of the Pittsburgh Steelers assistant coaching staff, and their quarterback is a guy that is assistant coach of a son of assistant coach at a Pitt team, Leftwich.
Wow.
They did a nice job. It was 14-3 defensive struggle, but Gateway, I think North Allegheny felt the pain a little bit, so that'll be in the back of their mind. That's one thing you don't forget is that pain. So when Gateway gets to Heinz Field, I think it may be a different outcome. But right now, Gateway has a blemish on their record.
and that goes to show you, no matter how good a team is, somebody can beat you one way or another.
Well,
right?
North Allegheny were favored. They're back-to-back WPIAL champions and state champions, and this is the greatest team in North Allegheny history. This team will be ranked in the top 10 USA Today. They're the #1 team ranked in the state.
Wow.
So they're tremendously loaded. They were favored going into the game, and just like the Fumbler predicted, North Allegheny won. But just like I'm predicting, cream rises.
Listen to this, folks.
Cream rises to the top. So we'll see you again at Heinz Field. I can't wait. I'll be there at that one.
How often does it happen at WPIAL? Is that still WPIAL
Yes.
this time? How often does it happen that a team will have a blemished record yet still be crowned the champion?
Well, it should always happen, especially you from Central Catholic. Central Catholics always won to get away with murder in all
Just spit
sports.
it out, buddy. Tell us the
You know, at
truth.
Gateway, we don't like Central Catholic, but
I could tell.
it used to be back in the day, if you had one loss, you didn't even make the playoffs. Now you can have several losses because the top 4 teams in each conference in each division goes to the playoffs. In the first year of the state championship, Upper St. Clair came in 4th in their division with a 500 record. Central Catholic came in 4th in their division with a 500 record. Those guys caught fire, played each other for the WPIAL championship at Three River Stadium. Upper St. Clair beat Central Catholic, but Upper St. Clair decided that they did not want to pursue the state championship. So by default, Central Catholic, the mediocre record that they had that year, went on to the state playoffs, beat up everybody, and won the first state championship ever on the field in WPIAL history. So it's been happening since 1989.
And folks, we have a new little announcement. We got high school WPIAL championship facts from Smoking Jim Frazier's Almanac. We have a new development here with a prompt from Big Mike. You can't find stuff like this on anybody else's show. Nobody has TV like this, especially live TV. We might have lost it for 10 minutes, but we come back strong here. And then I want to step it up to college football.
Thank the Lord.
We got to watch a Pitt game on, what was it, a Friday night? or whenever it was, because they lost, and it was just a sad game there. What were your insights on the Pitt game? Did you see that, or?
Yeah, it was. I think I watched it, and I think that also Jerry Sandusky was able to tune in. But I tell you what,
we'll get to that in a minute.
I tell you what, Pitt had the game. It was a tight struggle with Syracuse. It was a Friday night game. It took away from the high school. The ratings took away from the high school kids' ratings.
You stayed home to watch the game
I
instead
stayed
of going
home.
to Gateway.
I stayed home.
Don't tell anybody, folks. I hope you're not listening out in Penn Hills or Monroeville.
Well, I boycotted the Gateway game.
I know, you told us you were. I'm teasing you.
But
I listened to you.
But Pitt had their opportunities. They had their opportunities to win the football game, but they lost 14-13. But Tino Sinceri is moving up the charts. He's on pace right now to be the second all-time leading passer in Pitt history, ahead of Dan Marino. And do you guys know who was number one?
No.
Brian Generolovich.
Close. I can't think of his last name, but his first name was Alex. Remember, he played for the Buffalo Bills for 13 years.
Is he the guy who went to Central Catholic?
No.
Alex Sosty?
Alex Van Pelt. Alex Van Pelt, was it?
Yeah.
Alex Van Pelt. Yeah, Alex
How
Van
about
Pelt.
that? But he's going to pass Dan Marino.
He's gonna-
and people don't even think he's an adequate quarterback in the college.
And the people would be right. But
how did this happen?
But
Offensive
stats-wise,
schemes change.
But here's the thing that makes me mad with the University of Pittsburgh and them not knowing what direction they want to go in. If you watch West Virginia University,
Yes.
West Virginia runs the exact same offense that Pitt was running last year, that they were making excuses because they didn't feel they had the quarterback to run that particular offense. And if you look at Geno Smith, who's going to win the Heisman Trophy, because he came to West Virginia because he's from Miami, but Florida State, nor Miami wanted him. So he came to West Virginia. He'll win the Heisman Trophy, but he's not a guy that runs a whole lot. He puts up a lot of numbers passing wise. Just think, Pitt could have had the exact same offense, but they ran the guy out of town to Arizona. So, Pitt don't know what direction they want to go in.
Think about it. They had the used car salesman that was selling that high octane.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, except the problem, nobody bought into it except for him. Now he's doing it at Arizona State. So
Yeah.
look what happens. And Geno Smith has developed into a great quarterback that I've watched him. I've watched him over the years. He's gotten much better. And that's the thing. He can run when he wants to, and he's very good at it when he tucks that ball. But his passing is just unbelievable.
But they were saying that it was a running offense.
Right.
And I was saying last year it's not a running offense. You can run off of that offense, but the offense is Geno Smith doesn't have to run. He just dinks and dunks is accurate. And it could have been a great offense for Pitt because it puts up a lot of numbers. And West Virginia could play for the national championship this year. They went to Texas and beat Texas at Texas in front of a record crowd. The first 100,000 crowd attendance in Texas history. West Virginia won because when you have holes in your program, offense like that with some gimmickry, some trickerations, a lot of little fast wide receivers, running backs running through gaping holes, can help hide a lot of your flaws. And unfortunately for Pitt, their flaws are being exposed in this particular offense.
Which university in Texas was the first 100,000 in attendance?
In Austin, University of Texas.
UT.
Yeah, UT, 100,000.
That's hard. Let me tell you, I believe you because you're saying I know. Okay? But doesn't Nittany?
He doesn't lie, big boy.
Well, yeah, but here's where I'm coming from.
Does not
Penn
lie.
State. What's it called?
Yeah, Penn State holds
Happy
more.
Valley.
Michigan holds more. Yeah.
And I've been to, for business until I retired, I've been to Texas high schools.
Wow.
They have university style complexes for high schools. I'm telling
Yes, they do.
And for me to have you tell me that UT, and I've been to Austin and surrounding school districts, they don't hold 100K. I mean, what is, how do they, I'm surprised as hell to me because Texas is like a hotbed for football. That's their lives.
It took
right?
West Virginia to bring this out, Mike. That's the bottom line.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
Awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
By the way, since
Yes.
we're on that, can I stop throwing gasoline on the fire known as smoking Jim with the football thing here? I do segues, by the way, folks. I don't do requests, but I do segues. Hey, by the way, for next week's assignment, how do you spell Hawker? How do you?
Never mind. Jeez, follow your script. You got 13 pages there and you go off script. You're a movie star.
I want to thank the Academy.
You're a movie star. No, don't do that. We're talking football right now. You're not distracting us anymore.
Let's go football.
And with Pitt, I'm still shocked that you said Tino's going to pass Dan Marino.
Going to go past Dan Marino.
Well, let me ask you, because I'm always.
And what school did Dan Marino go to?
Central. I can't say that in front of him.
Okay.
But when someone surpasses someone, example, Barry Bonds passed Hank Aaron, who passed, dare I say, Babe Ruth.
What did you say?
They surpassed and let's go right to the crux of the conversation.
What do you mean by that?
Surpass? I don't know. It's a
No,
word.
the crux thing.
CRUX.
Okay.
When this guy, Sinceri, might pass Marino, he's going to have to pass him in what? Like completions, yardage, or
Driving his
attempts?
car.
Well, it sure won't be touchdown passes. It would be yardage. Yeah.
Okay, but
exactly.
And where I'm going with it, he's going to have more opportunities to do so, more games. Plus, he's going to have to throw more attempts. Is that correct, or am I incorrect?
I'm sure you're correct on all.
No, I'm asking
Yeah,
because
you're correct on
Mike,
when
he
you
just agreed with you. Try to take that, okay? Because
Oh, I wanted to argue with myself.
He hasn't agreed with you yet,
question.
okay? But he agreed with you.
I
like,
agree
co-signed
100%.
that. Yeah, he co-signed all of that too for you. So if you want to turn the page on your script there,
all right. Well,
can you find something good in there?
did you guys hear
Never mind.
Okay.
We need to get to some picks. Smoking Jim, do you have any picks? What happened with the Monday night? And
Well, yeah, of course, I won.
that's
Monday
what I
night
want to hear.
last
Some
night.
good stuff. I've
So
been
I'm
beating you up on all these
yeah,
losses. I'm
I'm-
trying to get something positive here.
I'm 7-2. I'm 7-2.
Okay.
And it was an easy one. When I found out that Tebow wasn't going to play very much, I went with Houston. But hopefully now it's Tebow time because the playoffs are starting to slip away for the Jets.
And since you mentioned that, how about on that fourth down play when it was 4th and inches? Everybody knew it was going to Tebow, and he still made the yardage.
I didn't watch the game. But
Didn't you watch the game?
Yeah, thanks for letting me know. I do have it on tape.
Oh,
but
I shouldn't have
didn't-
told you that.
No, that's okay. You're not spoiling
Oh,
it for me.
jeez.
You're not
Because
spoiling for me.
I thought maybe they should have put him in a little bit. And then here's the other thing. Some of those receivers that Sanchez has are terrible there. So, I mean, they got a lot of problems there. And Rex Ryan, he brought all that energy when he first came there. They didn't look energized at all. It looked like disoriented at times when they played the game. You'll see it, I'm sure. When you break it down, you'll be able to tell me.
Well, the energy will pick up when Tebow gets in the game. Tebow's a natural-born leader, and what he did last year for Denver will probably never happen again anywhere, anytime, except for in New York if they put him in. Tebow's that special. He's a special guy. And in my opinion, age for age, he's ahead of the other left-handed guy, Steve Young, who's in the Hall of Fame. Age for age, I got Tebow ahead of Steve Young right now, age for age, and I can prove it.
Well, Young didn't play. We call it. He was a backup for a while.
No, Young was a starter.
Well, Montana, he was behind
No, Young
Montana.
was a starter from day one. He was a starter from day one.
Oh, we got conflicting
Yeah, he
things
begged. He begged to get on the bench. Oh, now I got to go into it for 30 seconds. Steve Young was the highest paid player in the history of pro
USFL.
sports. He comes to the USFL LA Express. He signed a 40-year, $40 million contract. He went out there and played for the LA Express and was an instant bust. The team that held his rights after the USFL folded was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I tell you what, they put bags on their face when they had Steve Young playing a quarterback position. He could have went anywhere he wanted to and competed for the starting job, but he went to San Francisco so he wouldn't have to play. He learned, he got better, he worked hard, he worked on his craft, and when he got the opportunity to step in quite a few times for Joe Montana, who went down with injuries, Steve Young was ready when he finally got the opportunity to play at an advanced age of about 28 years old. Right now, Tim Tebow got the greatest work ethic I've ever seen in my life, and he's ahead age for age to where Steve Young was, and he was at the age of 25.
I got a good one for you guys. He went to Brigham Young, is that correct?
And played behind Jim McMahon at BYU until Jim McMahon graduated without a degree.
Brigham Young is Mormon, correct?
Where's Ben's
Yes,
wife?
sir.
All right. What's the 6 degrees of separation between Brigham Young and Central Catholic?
You have to tell us
I'm gonna
because you're
tell you.
asking the question.
This summer, I had the distinct pleasure of driving Billy Casper, the golfing legend, from the greater Pittsburgh airport all the way to not the Field Club, but the Fox Chapel Country Club for him to appear at the banquet for the senior PGA tournament. Billy is a Mormon, and he's the father of 17 children. And not only is he...
How many wives?
One, just one. That's a good
Be
question.
serious.
No, yeah, one wife.
Come on.
One wife.
Buddy, I know history. Smoking Jim, you might know your football. I know some history.
Brigham Young had the whatever.
I had to ask.
How can I be serious when I got to, you know what I mean? You guys are expecting me. So Billy Casper, we talked for the 45 minutes on the way to his
Well, sure,
the hotel.
17 kids' birthdays. That'll take that long, too.
For the
Come on.
45 minute, this is going to go bad. I can tell because I'm going to get into it. And then when I escorted him and carried his bags into his room, we sat in there and talked for another 15 or 20 minutes. Again, Billy's a Mormon. He's heavily involved with the church. He lives in Boise or where's BYU? Is that
Where did he
Boise?
say? Smoking Jim, what kind of names is he throwing out?
Is he? But he told me
It's
and
in Utah.
Yeah. Okay.
What is your point of this?
The Mormon Church, in cooperation,
The Mormon.
the Mormon Church, in cooperation with the Catholic Church, is building a large church in Rome near the Vatican. So there are your 9, 10 degrees of separation, or in
Oh, it
whatever
was
you want to
6
call it.
degrees. Now I think it's only 2.
Okay, well there you go. Mormons and Catholics unite, and I don't know, Brigham Young and Steve Young, and is he related then?
Yes.
Was Steve
Yeah,
Young
yeah,
He's like his
related?
great-great-grandson.
He is.
And you're making like disrespectful things about him there.
What else?
Talking about
Did
merging.
they teach you how to put up a barn when all that
Yeah.
conversation?
No, that was the Amish.
That's the Amish here. They do a nice barn.
Do you love this guy or what?
That's why he's smoking Jim Frazier. And you're big, Mike Butera.
Al, the talking machine, Levine, the this, the that, you know what I mean? This is us, guys. This is us. 831-3304 with a 412 in front
I
of
tell
it.
you what, a lot of NFL players could have saved a lot of money on child support if they would have adopted the Mormon principles.
You know what? And I think that's the point of what Big Mike was bringing up. And some of them have more than one wife or common law wife, so who knows what they could live in the hills and mountains of Utah.
Travis Henry, the running back, former NFL running back, had 9 kids by 9 different women. He was paying $17,000 a month child support. He still got to pay that now, even though he's broke. After his NFL career.
He's broke, he's not paying anything.
He still has.
Well,
to
you
do
got
it.
to
They
start
didn't
watching
reduce
those
it.
30 for 30
The
NBA
broke.
or ESPN
Yeah,
show,
man,
right? You
yeah.
brought it up the other day. I was
Yeah.
watching some of the previews of it.
Yeah,
I
wow.
can't believe some of the guys.
Go through hundreds
what's
of
it-
millions of dollars. It's amazing.
What's
how
it
this
called,
guy-
30 for 30?
Yeah, 30 for 30 broke. It's ESPN 30 for 30, and the segment that they have is broke. They're talking about 80% of the NFL players after they retire for 2 years are broke.
Well, that's what
And
that's what I told you guys.
70% of the basketball players.
Oh, that's, no doubt. You either have
Only
a,
70.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it'd be higher than that.
Wow.
Because those kids are young kids when they're getting signed up with this
Well, they're
stuff.
getting a lot of kids now from Europe. They
Okay.
keep their money.
yeah, you have unscrupulous agents,
Good point.
or you have
Getting some guys from China.
Yeah, and then they take the money back 'cause they got all our money. You got to buy gold. I don't know.
Hey.
Oh, we're talking sports. Olympics. Buy the gold.
I'm knowledgeable. I'm hip. I'm with it.
Are you? We
I
don't know
think
where
so.
we
Hey,
went on that.
Okay, we'll spend a lot of time on the NFL,
Yeah.
and of course, I only know one thing. That's baseball. I want your read on the incident that happened with the Texas Rangers last week.
And the Braves.
Oh, that one, forget about it. Jeez, oh man, you know what? I don't even know what to
I
say
wanted to
about
cover that one.
Infield, outfield, fly rule, whatever.
You're the
whatever.
baseball guy because Chip's not here, and we'll have to wait till Chip comes back. But
So I'm not the baseball guy, is what you're saying.
well, you are, but you don't know that infield fly rule, or you would have spoke about it. You forgot about it.
I was starting with Texas
Okay,
Rangers
go ahead.
last week because
We got less than 4 minutes. You bring up whatever you want here, Big Mike.
in one of the final games of the season, the revered Juice Hamilton was coming in a game against the Oakland A's that they had to win one of them in order to maintain their lead and go into the as the divisional leader. Well, Hamilton came in. He either misjudged the pop fly or he dropped it, because I didn't see it, but he got ridiculed by his manager, who's had his back for as long as they've been playing together, working together. And then at the game when they lost to the Oakland A's in not the Oakland A's, the whomever they played in that play-in, playoff, whatever it's called, Hamilton got booed roundly by the Texas Rangers fans, which is really like goes against the grain. I mean, you don't boo the guy. He's the guy. I don't understand that. So you guys didn't hear about this?
I wasn't paying attention.
So my point to me or that?
Both.
Okay, but
What's your point?
My point is he's now a free agent, and I doubt.
You think we could sign him?
Yeah, you could. You make that money. Look how that guy dresses, ladies and gentlemen.
Pinstripe suit.
And the Pirates could have that guy for all I care.
Who's going to the World Series, Big Mike?
Boy, that's a crapshoot. I mean, I could tell you the Yankees. I could tell you St. Louis.
Well, tell us who you think.
The way St. Louis is playing, I think they could. I also think Oakland
St.
could be.
Louis.
The Cardinals, correct? Not the St. Louis, whatever the football team is. I think the Cardinals have an excellent chance. They just seem to be so strong and they're playing so well at the end of the year. I think the Oakland A's, for this very same reason, could be in the playoffs. But again, it's a crapshoot in a short amount of series. I mean, Jimmy Leland can go there, and next year Dave Dombrowski, the guy, will say, well, we're cutting back payroll, and Jimmy Leland does what he does, smokes a pack of Marlboros, and that's the next.
But you know what? I'd rather have a quitter that could win a World Series, and I think Detroit could do it.
Stay with it. That's okay.
Yeah,
that's an interesting
Try
concept.
to ponder that.
Yeah, I am. I'm
all right.
pondering.
Put ponder down on that.
You think Cincinnati? You guys think Cincinnati has a chance?
I think they could.
Oh, I think it's a great chance.
They have.
I'll tell you who's not going to do it is the Washington Nationals, and it's not because of Steven Strasburg. Because if you looked at his stats over the last 6 weeks, his ERA and innings, his ERA went up, his innings were going down, and if he would have stayed, he might have not stayed. If they'd have let him play the rest of the year, I don't think he would have been the great Steven Strasburg.
I got to disagree with you.
That's okay.
I think it preyed on his mind that he had to shut down. So he just wasn't thinking. I mean, he was starting to think about something instead of pitching. Look at before that. Then they said they're shutting him down. Think about it. What it does. You're at the top of your game.
They gave him that ultimate. They gave him that thing in the beginning of the season.
Well, when you're having that great success and then they keep reminding you, you're hearing it everywhere, maybe that bothers you. Smoking Jim, Steelers, we're winding down. What do you think, Thursday night?
They should win Thursday night.
Yeah, but sometimes they play to the level of the team they're playing on the road.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they lose any game.
Because I'm holding out for 11-5. All you people out there, you're 8-8. I'm going 11-5. We can't ask Big Mike about it. What are the Yankees going to do? Can they do it?
They'll play deep into October.
Okay.
Boy, it must be the seat I'm sitting at. I don't know.
Well,
and Chip, I'm going to tell you, I miss you, but when you're here, I don't miss you.
Well, we gotta wrap this thing up. We had Big Mike Butera giving all his insights, what's in his mind, what's in his script. We had Smoking Jim Frazier here with his fiction and facts from the Smoking Jim Almanac, and you have Al Levine, the talking machine. Thanks for watching the show.
That's it.